Hello and welcome to Salon
De Coco.
Today I am here with my friend and roommate River, and I'm gonna give him a haircut. He has asked for kind of like a disconnected undercut with rounded layers in the back, so that's what I'm gonna try to do, and we're gonna hang out and chat and have some fun.
Get my haircut. How many different barbers do you think you have in their life?
I don't know, man, like some people just pick one and then they just go to that one person forever. And then some people travel around the world and just like can't go to the same person forever, you know? Like, how many barbers have you had in your life?
My first barber ever. Okay, I'm gonna exclude everything from before middle school because I wasn't aware enough to get to my own haircuts.
Yeah, that's
So,
different.
like, my mom was like giving me bowl cuts, and like my grandma was taking me to hair cuttery. I was just looking like a straight childhood goon. Middle school, I went to this guy named Swole.
You went to a guy named Swole for your haircut in middle school?
Yeah, his name was Swole. He cut up the neighborhood kids. I went to him probably until about junior year, and then he moved to Miami, like super unannounced. I was devastated. And then I found out that my boy Colin cut hair, and so he started cutting the crew's hair. And then
Was your boy Colin one of your friends?
Yeah.
That's random.
Yeah. From Colombia. He's really good at giving fades.
Cool.
And he's a professional barber now.
Oh, cool.
He cut my hair probably until junior year of college. So maybe like 4 or 5 years. When I was in college, after Colin was cutting my hair, a guy named Greg cut my hair.
Oh, Greg. Yeah.
Greg, yeah. So Greg cut my hair for another 2 years. And then there was a barber back home down south. His name's Terry. He's the man. He cut everyone's hair growing up, but I went to Swole, so he didn't cut my hair. And the last haircut I got before I grew my hair out was from Terry.
Talk about growing your hair out.
So I got cut up last time and then grew my hair out over 7 years.
What do you mean you got cut up?
Terry cut me up.
Oh, okay. Not like just your hair, not like you.
Yeah. So what are we at right now? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've had 4 barbers so far. And then
Wait, do I count?
You're about to count. Then I went 7 years traveling, growing my hair out. It was interesting. I had said, I'm not going to cut my hair until I get a job. And then I got a job, but by the time I got a job, I could put my hair in a bun. I was like, there's no way I'm cutting my hair. I just got it in a bun. It was primetime man bun.
I just got it in a bun.
That's kind of when I started building my Instagram too.
Okay.
All fashion stuff, which ended up kind of kicking me in the ass later.
Why?
I switched to a more conscious perspective of like content that I was producing, and a lot of my original fan base was like fashion oriented and not a fan of consciousness or on people for being unsustainable and fast fashion and whatever, and not supporting consumerism.
Yeah.
And then I cut my hair for the first time maybe 3 weeks ago. So this is my second haircut.
If you want to check out River's Instagram, I will leave it here.
And that's the story of my hair. So let's see, 4, then 5. So you're number 6 barbers. You're the 6th barber I've had my whole life.
If you're a guy or a girl, I guess, comment in the comment box below how many barbers have you had. Let's see what the average is.
I feel like some people just get a new one every single time they get a haircut, but I have trust issues, so.
Well, you trusted me.
I did. We also live together.
Yeah, that's true.
And I've seen your work.
Yeah, I guess you saw this. So you went, okay, so you pivoted from fashion to like more, what would you describe your content as now?
Conscious activism. It's partly like my expression through creation. So a lot of it is just my art, and the actual substance of that art usually has something to do with consciousness or sustainability, which I kind of throw into consciousness, because if you're conscious, you're probably going to be conscious of the ramifications of your actions, and therefore moving into a place of being sustainable. And more than just sustainable in the sense of, is it sustainable for me to buy clothing, or is it sustainable for me to consume things, but are you acting sustainably to yourself, and like self-treatment and self-talk? Like, do you talk to yourself in a sustainable way? Because we know, like, if you're talking down to yourself and you're belittling yourself and you're demeaning your consciousness into a state of depression and anxiety, then that's unsustainable, you know?
Yeah. I think, like, when we talk about self-care, I think it's like a very feminized topic. And I know, like, with your content, you're very much talking to other men.
Definitely talking to other men. Not that I'm not talking to women too.
Yeah.
It's important that both polarities are acknowledged and appreciated and support each other. It's more about changing the masculine paradigm and providing a level of embrace and consciousness. And so, for example, I did 90 days of affirmations. And so it was kind of like my artistic project of how can I feel myself in a way that I feel represents me, while producing content that other people can consume and feel better for. I've tried to get really deep with the format that is available for Instagram and how they give you the different layers that you can use as far as like creating a carousel and like what does that look like, and can I create something on a macro level when I'm looking at an entire page versus can I add additional content on a micro level. Once you click into individual pieces, can you then go deeper into it? And so that's been a big move within my social, is to kind of create those layers. And then a lot of it is a commentary on what is it like to be a man on the path of becoming more divine and like facing your own and being a feminist for the betterment of women, but the whole, but also like being a feminist for your own femininity. Is that how you say it? Femininity?
Yeah.
Femininity as a man. Like, we have polarities, and in society we've ignored a lot of like men's feminine energy. Like
denying the like men's feminine qualities. And like being super, like saying that it's homosexual when it's not. Gender doesn't necessarily dictate sexuality, they're different.
And so instead of us saying things like, oh, that guy's soft because he's expressing his emotions, and that kind of toxic construct around, you know, the man is responsible for being the rock and the stable person, and no matter how much stress they have and no matter how much pain they're dealing with, like, they have to be this bronze statue example of perfect masculinity, which is just a construct. You know, that's not healthy. And then when we allow the feminine to support that construct, you know, when a woman is then like, oh man, that guy expresses emotions to me, like he's so soft, like I'll never date a man like that. You know, that's traumatizing too, and that's just facilitating the toxic cycle that we're all trying to break through consciousness.
Right. I don't know, I just feel like there's not a lot of guys out there that are talking about that. Maybe if a man were, then people would just attack him for like not being masculine enough, you know? Like, or man, I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of people talking about it, and we just don't really hear about them.
I think we're at the beginning phases. I think it's something similar to the feminist movement that really took off. What would you say, about 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Which has been around for a long time, you know, but it just really started catching steam, and then with the Me Too movement, it really picked up.
Right.
And now we're seeing this movement of you know, shedding image-based stereotypes within the feminine and women embracing their bodies of all different types, and letting go of these kind of subjective social constructs around what the media has determined to be most physically appealing to men sexual objectification. It's unrealistic for men to hold on to the media's subjective construct of what a woman should look like. And porn is a big example of this, right? It's like, quote, unquote, quote, I want to date a porn star, right? She has to be completely shaved. She has to be perfectly tanned. Feminine existence has to be perceived in look a particular way.
Well, yeah, I mean, even, like having smooth skin and having like big boobs and a big butt and a little waist. And for a lot of women, it's like a completely unrealistic, unattainable body type. And then I feel like men and boys are kind of taught, like, if your girl doesn't look like this, it's something to be like ashamed of, maybe.
Definitely.
Right?
If you're not dating Kylie Jenner, then like you, as a man, you're basically worthless and you taste.
That's so weird.
I guess where we have to start is helping men be comfortable within themselves and accepting each other without placing those masculine, let's call it toxic masculine archetypes on each other and onto ourselves, right? Because I think body image is a huge thing with men, and we hear it a lot about women, but men just don't really talk that much in general. And there's a study that the UK actually has been doing a study on men's mental health. I think it's the Department of Mental Health in the UK. Don't quote me on that. But it basically reported that men over the age of, I think it was like over the age of 35, maybe it was 45, their only friends were their wife and kids.
Wow.
And so the whole report is about men's mental health as age gets older, and how these social constructs around masculinity have essentially forced men into isolation, because it's not perceived as manly to have manly friends.
Or to be just like open enough to like foster
a friendship.
Yeah.
A terrible thing. I'm very fortunate to have a masculine community, to have a shoulder, a masculine shoulder to cry on, or to be vulnerable to, or to express things to, because all of that stuff that gets repressed, when it's unreleased, it's unhealthy. So we want to definitely change that, and to allow men to be free. And I think a big part of that also comes from the feminine, and this is kind of the paradox of the situation that we're in right now, right? Is that, and we've talked about this before, is women get blown up constantly via different social outlets, via everywhere they walk throughout the day, like always getting catcalled, always getting hit on. And it's because we live in a society where we've taught men to sexually objectify women at every turn, right? Yeah. The first thing you say is, oh, I would sleep with her, or oh, I definitely wouldn't sleep with her. Which is
just like so weird.
It's the worst thing to consider. And it's like, you haven't even taken into consideration this person's personality, if you could be friends with them, right? There's not even a consideration of friendship with women. And so whenever the women or let's say feminine, because if we're being, what is it, gender binary, then it's just the feminine, right? Yeah. And if you're being essentially molested all the time, verbally and physically by the masculine, you're getting hit up every day, 10 or 15 to hundreds to thousands of Instagram DMs and thousands, for some.
I'm all shook because I got like 5.
I don't exist in that realm because I am that masculine.
Because like guys aren't trying to like hit you up.
No, and women aren't trying to hit me up because they're actually, and the point I'm trying to make is that they have become numb from the trauma. The trauma of always being sexually objectified. And the problem that this creates is that now there's a community of men who who are changing, right? They're changing these constructs, right? To be friends with women, to appreciate women, to respect women for who they are, but they don't have support. They don't have the essential tools for them to heal.
Wait, the men don't or the women don't?
The men don't. From women. So if, let's say, the masculine is wounded by the feminine, right? For whatever experience, because there's toxic and whatever. And so to heal that experience, of course you're going to heal from within first. But eventually you are going to find, in reality, if you really want to heal, you're going to find a feminine partner, a friend or an intimate partner who's going to allow you to openly express and be emotionally vulnerable the traumas that you experienced so that you can release those. So the feminine essentially holds a space for the masculine to heal feminine trauma, right? And now,
and like girls talk about this stuff all the time. They're like, girls talk about their trauma constantly, right? Like toxic relationships with boys or like things with their family, like that's pretty common to bond over. Would you say like in male spaces, like when women aren't around boys, men don't talk about this stuff?
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Like unequivocally.
No. That's for the majority. There's this divine masculine movement that's on the rise right now. And these men are holding space for other men and groups and men's groups and things like this for this to be an open space. But what we see also is that it goes both ways, right? The feminine needs healing from masculine trauma from the masculine, or you will always have some type of jaded opinion. And so if you're going to accept someone who has been raped or who has been tortured or who has been abused or traumatized by the masculine, and you can accept them and you can love them and you can show them that, hey, there is masculine energy out there that is willing to hold you and allow you to heal safely, so that you don't always have to fear the masculine, then that's going to result in some really profound healing.
It's just that when sometimes, like, if a perfectly nice guy reaches out and like says something perfectly nice, as a woman, sometimes you don't know, like, if you can really trust that person, because you've seen how other men acted in the past. And like, you don't want to get hurt again or like objectified again. Like the objectification is real.
It's real.
Like, people not seeing you, men not seeing women as actual people, but as objects. You can just see how some men can treat women just like crap, like as though they don't have,
respect.
Yeah, respect for them. Although sometimes I think
too.
it goes the other way too, though. I think women can also objectify men, look at men and just see them for like, oh, this guy's gonna buy me drinks tonight or something, or like treat their boyfriend like crap because they think that men don't have feelings and somehow it's good for them.
Yeah.